मैं
Okay.
डिप्रेशन में चला गया था. So that when I started with the Three Idiots,
Hmm.
उसमें एक मैंने छोटा सा पार्ट किया था. But
Hmm.
उस वक्त some college students had harmed themselves, and so I got a call from some news channel saying, "Sir, you've played this role, and this is exactly what has happened, and these. How do you feel about it?" And
Oh.
मैं तो क्रश हो गया. I was naive, one small college में था, second year.
It's not the length of the scene. It is not. It's the depth of the character that entices me.
Characters are really strong. So even if you have one scene, even if you have two scenes, as long as, like Shruti said, as long as you are contributing to the story, it's perfect. You don't have to be in every scene to really prove yourself.
Hello everyone, welcome to PeepingMoon.com. I am Rashita Sahani, and today joining me for a very interesting conversation is a cast that we can literally never forget. Welcoming Ali, Fazal, Shruthi Menon and Shweta Basu Prasad for their upcoming Netflix anthology, Ray's film Forget Me Not. Hi you guys, how have you been?
Thank you. Been talking a lot.
Can't
For good
complain.
cause.
Okay. Okay, so firstly, tell me that everyone wants to be a part of Mr. Satyajit Ray's cinema. There's his stories and his vision, but do you think that being a part of this story in Ray has also added quite some responsibility on your shoulders, taking his story and presenting it to the audience today in today's time?
I mean, if I may, I think not as actors. I think it'll always be our responsibility to tell stories. I still feel we're not fully. I mean, I know we're talking about Ray a lot, but the story is very different from what he had written, and it has also got a vision of Srijit Mukherjee, who's the director, the DOP Swapnil, who's brought in an entirely different canvas. So I suppose in look and form, it might be very different from कि कल को हमें कोई गाली ना दे कि यार ये तो रे का कुछ और है और ये कुछ और है. But the inspiration is Ray. I think his twisted stories, and I think those are what we always loved. The little rayness of it. That kind of lingers on, and I think yeah. So as actors, I think we are responsible for. I feel responsible for the particular story that I'm about to tell in the best way possible, because uh, I have to somehow reach out and not be too predictable at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Shweta?
This story, Forget Me Not, is inspired from Satyajit Ray's short story, The Memory Lapse of Bipin Chaudhary. It was written in the 60s, and if you see the original text, it did not have women. There were no female characters in the original text.
Yeah.
So, of course, only the seed from that story has been taken. I think the writers, the creators, and the director are in better place to answer this actually. But from what I understand, it is just inspired from that story. Like, for example, Little Women or a Pride and Prejudice, or my previous association with Netflix, Serious Men. They were book to script to screen were as is, with slight tweaks. But say a Maqbool is based on a Macbeth. So, it's then you screenwrite it to develop your own world, or an Omkara. Similarly, Ray Anthology, the seeds are from Satyajit Ray stories. So, like the other Srijit Mukherjee, director, he was saying that a lot of purists in Bengal, they get very this thing about Tagore and Ray work. They guard Tagore and Ray like that.
Yes.
So that's why I say that, how it is adapted and how it's presented, I think the writers can answer this better. But yes, it is just an inspiration and a world built on it. As actors, like rightly Ali said, that you do have a sense of responsibility, but our job is between action and cut. So, and the script that's given to us, so that's the best that we can do. But of course, it's a rare privilege to be part of a Ray story, And I'm very happy that the world knows him as a prolific filmmaker, like we all do, and we have been exposed to his films. But I'm so glad that through our anthology, people will be introduced to his written works, which are actually pretty amazing as well.
I'm sure. Shruti?
Yes, I was introduced to Satyajit Ray and his stories when I was a very little girl. He had a huge impact of coming right from, I'm talking about when I was 4 or 5 years old, coming right from storybooks and to witness something like my first film of Satyajit Ray was Gopikai Pagapai. And to witness a storytelling of that sort kind of opens up your mind entirely. And I had never imagined that I would someday be able to be associated with a storytelling like that. And having said that, like Shweta said, it is adapted to the current scenario, it is adapted to the current state of affairs, and storytelling, the cinematography, the lighting, everything is different. So as actors, whatever the story is, it is our responsibility to bring in the storytellers, the original story, the directors, and our own self into translating that idea, translating that to the audiences. So yes, it's a job of great responsibility, and it's even better when you have such fabulous team to work with. So it was overall a great fun and a privilege, big privilege. Yes,
Definitely. Okay. And Ali, to keep the character, your character alive and the story gripping at the same time must have needed a lot of energy from you. Did at any point it take an emotional toll on you towards maybe the ending part I'm talking about, while shooting it or after that? Or were you able to detach from your character easily?
The sometimes the accent lingers on. I think that has sometimes become a bit of a problem that I have to deal with every different project that I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember coming back from England and I was already like talking in very posh British accents and last year, and then this time I'm this techie from Bangalore. But I mean, I don't know. I think um, I've learned over time to kind of detach. As soon as we call it call it a cut. I think certain projects do that. Like Mirzapur 2 did that for me. It took a long time. It took a time to a point where my hand had spasms for 6 months after that, because of this stick work that I used to, and I'd been only on crutches even regular, because you need at least a month of these physical activities to make them a habit. So that is something you can't just act out. I had to do that. I had to put in the work. And then through those 5 months, I mean, whatever it was, so those things and those emotions tend to then start associating themselves with these objects and with your body. So it gets very heavy. With Ipshit, it was cool suits and disguised under a lot of other stuff, but mentally it was draining on set. But I immediately, I start cracking jokes. I'm that guy. I need, है ना, मैं किसी को पकड़ लेता हूँ, मैं तो सेट पे सब लाइट वाइट वालों के साथ बैठ जाता हूँ, 2 गप्पे लगाता हूँ, चाय पीता हूँ, मैं प्लीज मेरे को ना जोक सुना तू कोई, अगर कुछ कभी हेवी हो जाता है. So that's I think that's very important.
Okay, that's great. And Shweta, while watching the film, I found your character the most tricky one. It had every human emotion, firstly, and it was also combined with shades of grey. You tell me, while playing it, what was your approach like? Did you keep, the ending in your mind while playing your character, Maggie?
No, one take, one scene at a time. Of course, you read the script and you know the progression, your character's graph, and where it's going to culminate. In terms of prep, I like writing a backstory to understand where the journey began, like where was she born, what were her formative years. But that's a personal exercise that I do and I share with my director. But script-wise, also, of course, the graph of where it was. Yes, it is packed with surprises, which I will leave now for the audience. But I think Grey, it's so human, because we are so used to our conditioning as audience has been, unfortunately, so black and white that I think it's absolutely, I find Maggie very, very human. So,
I
but
mean, your tentacles and your teeth start growing now.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. But no, I think especially the last scene that we have. I mean, if you've seen
Yeah.
the film, so you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
I think just for that particular scene, it's a lot of choreography and it's a lot of conversation. Like, you know, she's constantly telling something. Maggie's character is telling something to
Yeah.
Ipsit's character. My only thing with that was I love the scene what the writers have done, and it was very beautifully it's a treatment based scene, and you know all of that, and it's a long one shot scene altogether. My only thing was that the dialogues, the way they were written from a male gaze, or let's say a neutral gaze. And you know, I just requested my director Shrijit Mukherjee that can I please personalize it. I need to think like Maggie, do some research based on the experience she has gone through, because even I don't know what it is to feel that what what she went through. So
Of
just
course.
can I please personalize it, give you my notes, and see if that works. And it is so refreshing, you know, when he said, go ahead, you have the liberty. If I like it, we'll do it. And he's actually incorporated my notes in that scene. And that is so encouraging, because you suddenly have, you know, there was a lot of Maggie in that scene after that, and you know what she's gone through. I mean, if you know the scene, you know that, you know, she's speaking about
Yes.
the journey that she went through, and all that was part of the notes that I wrote. And that was very nice, and that is so amazing that a director understands that, you know, yes, certain things you know, when it's a female character, they have to be written from a female perspective as well. And that was
Definitely.
amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Okay.
Oh man, I tried to sabotage your character a lot. It
What to
just
do?
doesn't happen.
I will forget you not.
Okay. Shruti,
Should
what about you? You, in towards the end, you leave the story after finding, of course, an unsettling truth. Yeah. But, you know, do you think that to create an impact with your character, which I think you did completely, I have watched the film, the screen space matters in today's time, I'm asking.
Thank you for your compliments, Rashita.
Okay.
I don't believe that screen space matters. If you have, it's yes, of course, if you are in a scene and you have no impact on the story, then yes, that's a different thing. But as a character, if there's an impact on the story, and if you feel that character, like it's it's not the length of the scene. It is not. It's the depth of the character that entices me. If I cannot bring myself, if I cannot bring myself to show that to the audiences, then I would prefer politely declining the offer if I have something like that. But it didn't matter to me that it was not an out and out. I was not in every scene. I had a couple of scenes which, like Ali had said earlier, actually not here, earlier he said that the whole, and I believe strongly that the whole story is based upon Ipsit and Amala's love. And from there, you know, everything arises. Because of that, everything arises. So, so that was important enough for me. And the fact that we had some powerful scenes, and Amala's character to make a difference to the story. That's pretty much mattered.
Okay, agreed. And of course, Mr. Satyajit Ray was the first Indian to receive an Oscar. And today we are seeing so many web shows are going international. Some are winning Emmy Awards. Do you think Ray also has the power to do the same and, you know, win international acclaim?
That's speaking out of turn, isn't it? I wouldn't say such big words, but yeah, Ray did. You know, he himself, the person Ray, he brought us on the map. Like I've said earlier, he, of course, and I've seen that. I think that recorded speech they had, you know, when he received his honorary Oscar, because he couldn't make it there. He was quite. I think he was bedridden or something. Um, um, you know, it's so unfortunate that actually not too long ago, um, there were only records of Ray films and Shweta, name the other famous Bengali director. God, I'm missing the
Bimal
name.
Roy. Bimal Roy. Ritvik Ghatak.
Ritvik Ghatak. Yeah, sorry. These two. The Academy had only record of these two, and that's it. Like archival stuff. So and of course now the Academy has opened up, and I mean I got lucky that I got to become a member of the Academy. So and then we started obviously checking out like what do they have on Indian filmmakers, and how far are we ahead in the game. So yeah, that infiltration has now started on the world stage. I think slowly we are we're getting at par. I think our cinema is already leading, in many ways. I don't mean Bollywood, I mean Malayali cinema right now, and Tamil, but mostly Malayalam cinema. I think they are skyrocketing, and I won't be surprised tomorrow if we win the Oscar from there in one of those films. I think we are also making some interesting stuff in the Hindi belt. Because the Hindi belt is the larger belt on the on this side, UP और पूरा nerve पकड़ता है. But yeah, there's some wonderful films that are coming from.
Yeah, definitely. Hoping for the best.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I add something, Rashita, to what you had asked me?
Sure, yeah.
My laptop was going to die. So Stanislavski had said that there are no small actors. There are no small roles. There are only small actors. So I wanted to just say that. And when I was starting out, I strongly believed that, oh no, you have to have screen space. But then I had to just make that one and they just impact. And it's all about how you connect with the audiences. So
yeah. I think with time, so much has been changing. Earlier, it was only about the star power, about how much role you have. Now it's, of course, about the impact you leave and how much ever screen space you're given.
Oh yeah, such beautiful.
Yeah, I weirdly on this topic, I have a very different experience. मैं depression में चला गया था. So that when I started with the Three Idiots, उसमें एक मैंने छोटा सा part किया था. And that, of course, everybody started
give
liking
me
it
some sunshine, give me some rain, give me another chance on a girl once again.
Good, 5 points. So no, क्या हुआ क्या था उस वक्त suddenly they were doing some news pieces, and not to sound morbid or anything, but उस वक्त some college students had harmed themselves, and so I got a call from some news channel saying, sir, you've played this role and this is exactly what has happened, and these how do you feel about it? And मैं तो crush हो गया. I was naive, one small college में था, second year. I was like, I went into one depression. I told Raju sir and all these people, I said, sir, they said, please don't do this. Tell them to talk to the producer. Don't feel like this. Obviously, they were very sweet about it. And I used to suddenly start associating. I said, नहीं यार, मैं छोटे रोल में मैं ज़्यादा बता नहीं पाया इन लोगों को. I hope I get a big, so that I can then take them through the whole journey and tell you that no, this is not, I didn't mean to hurt anybody or whatever. So that was my idea. But of course, it was coming from a very naive space. I think we all, like Shruthi also said, we've all, have different associations, but I think at the same time that it turned out to be impactful in its own way, or so many other parts that I've still, we've all done, I think.
Irfan Khan was a scribe in his first film, Salam Bombay. He was there for like one shot. One shot.
Nasrin Siddiqui also in Sarfarosh. He was the guy. He was in. He was one
even,
of those.
Even Talash. Even Talash. Remember Talash?
Yeah.
I think what matters is consistent work. I think what really matters is good consistent work. And today, I think they are so character driven. It's great writing that's happening in the OTT world right now. So characters are really strong. So even if you have one scene, even if you have two scenes, as long as, like Shruthi said, as long as you are contributing to the story, it's perfect. You know, you don't have to be in every scene to really prove yourself. Even if it's contributing to the story, I think that's enough. As long as your character has an arc, I think
हाँ
that's
मतलब वो
good
फिर
enough.
तो कुछ लोग वो भी करते हैं ना, we've seen like some actors, वो तो नार्सिसिज्म हो जाता है ना एक तरीके का, अपने ही शॉट्स लगाते हैं. मैंने कोई देखी थी, बहुत ही वाहियात फिल्म है. I will be amazed if you guys can all guess it, maybe off the record we'll guess.
I know.
बट उसमें यार मतलब आदमी का क्लोजअप भी नहीं है, वो मतलब बात हो रही है, मेन एक्टर इज टॉकिंग, उसका भी क्लोज नहीं आया.
Ali,
उसका
name the actor, no.
Yeah. Name the
Say
film.
no, which
Name the film. We
Name the
will
film.
guess the artist.
Name the film.
नहीं,
Name
ऐसा
the
नहीं
film.
ऐसे. I'll make a drawing and then I'll post it, है ना, ऐसे करते हैं ना, drawing बना के फिर guess who.
Text later.
Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
but yeah, moving on.
Okay. And Shweta and Shruti, what about you? What do you feel about, you know, Ray getting international acclaim? Because I watched the film. I think it is incredibly written and all of you have acted it very well. So it might just go there. So what is your point of view on that?
Thank you so much. I think that itself
you.
is such a huge compliment. But of course, as much as we would like to hope for that, I think we would not like to expect that personally, because I mean, you know, every project has its own journey, has its own fate. So I think we are, you know, let it first release and let it first have its reaction. I think the biggest award any project can get is audience loving it. For me, that's huge, that's biggest, and that's what remains. You know, I mean, of course awards matter, it's like a great, or nominations at prestigious award festivals or award ceremonies, of course they matter, and if we get there, great. But audience reaction and audience love is something that remains, that really remains.
Definitely, completely. Shruti, what about you?
Same thing. If I start attaching myself as an actor to every project, it is going to bring about a lot of heartbreak, a lot of emotions, which is good as an actor, but it can really destroy you. Like a character, like any character, if you because you're playing in the moment, it's real. It's not a character, it's real. So if you keep associating yourself and attaching yourself to that, it's just going to lead to a lot of upheaval of emotions. So I just think, like Shweta said, if the audience like it, if we have all as a team been successful in translating the essence of the story and keeping something like Satyajit Ray's story, it's a huge responsibility. If that translates well on screen, I think we have achieved what we wanted. So thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Shruti, Shweta, and Ali, for chatting with me. It was a pleasure
Thank
talking
you,
to you.
Baba.
All the very
Thank
best.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye
much.
Ali, bye
Thank you.
Shruti.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye, Ali.
Bye, Shweta.